Most of you clicked on this video because it came onto your For You page, right? Do you know what else came onto your For You page some fateful day? Was it A, SMG4, B, Metarunner, C, Sunset Paradise? I mean, probably not, but, you never know. D, T80C, because, that probably happened to most of us. Or E, if you're cool and if you're lucky, Murder Drones. Maybe it was something completely different, like a fan project of T80C or MD. Maybe it was the Metarunner comic dub or something like a comic dub that got you into it. But I'm speaking to all the people that got into Murder Drones through T80C. That includes me, so we're twins! Today marks the date of Murder Drones Episode 7's release date, March 29th, which is crazy to me since I vividly remember my reaction to this scene. But this episode really put the show into place for me. I remember rambling about it for just 2 hours after it had just came out and I was trying to process everything that had happened. Sure, it was an episode that definitely crammed way too much into its pockets, but it was amazingly paced and highly anticipated to the point where we didn't even care if it was good or bad.
That's a lie. It had to be good. That's all.
I remember watching Digital Circus and then slowly dipping my toes into Murder Drones water, or what did I write in the script? Should I say oil, ahu ha ha ha? I didn't like MD at first, but when I saw the pilot for the first time after wanting to head back to it, my mind exploded. What did the solver mean? What happened to Uzi's mom? Who killed Nori and why is N built like that and can he get pregnant? What is V's backstory? Oh, and she just died. I don't remember my reaction to V's death at all, since I don't even remember if I knew what was going on back then, but as I slowly got a grasp of the lore, everything set in place for me and how deep the storyline was really shined. And then one fateful day, after watching the entirety of the series over and over, every single theory about Episode 7, including the cartoon universe, Tessa is Sin theory, and the detached cinematic, Internation Cuban Cliffside, and some of SSCWL, boom! Final Destination came out. People made theories left and right, people new and people fond of the fandom, trying their best to make theories and watching over the beginning of the end trailer over and over again. Yeah, it was crazy. When the episode finally premiered in March, people already started making edits of the intro with this audio. I remember the fandom going bonkers on the Sinessa theory being true, the way everyone's jaw dropped at the flashbacks and Thad and Lizzie coming back, and also Khan making this joke.
Cannibalism and Nightcore?
I remember not being able to breathe when Uzi was being killed, then Tessa died, then Uzi got possessed and tried to kill N, then Uzi killed Nori. I mean, it was crazy, okay? Not to mention, this fight scene and overall everything in this episode is at its peak. It stands next to the pilot at the characterization being so spot on my podium at least. The way that we get to see all the sides of N and Uzi and their many emotions, including the phenomenal N confession and Nori's reaction to their relationship, the way Uzi gets scared of Tessa and then the way N protects her at all costs is great, though Uzi and him kinda just met, like they just met. I wish we got to see a little regret instead of it coming off as him being head over heels for her, which they just don't get separate character growth in this episode, which is something that I don't really like. Especially, well, they were actually split up. I'm going off my script, hold on. The way N caters towards Uzi, but also shows his stress for V's death, was heartbreaking, especially since he had no reaction to her coming back in episode 8. The characters feel a bit more scared and vulnerable in this episode, since they are in a place they don't know, which is, it's practically a maze. They've lost V and Uzi's going crazy, and the way N looks at Tessa in the scene gives me goosebumps every single time. I get shivers. And we can't forget about the time that Uzi sacrificed herself. I cried, and I still do. Never play Die Mad in front of me ever again, unless it's Jay's bit with the little ding-dong, ding-dong. My dad's working. N's heartbreak of losing 2 of his love interests and the people that he cared most about in his entire life. It feels like he's kind of let everyone down, especially after the Sintessa reveal. Man! I remember this episode was so incredibly hyped because of the wait of 6 months, I believe, due to the rewrites, so Liam wouldn't get doxxed by another character's death. Yes, I do think there was a rewrite, but not objectively to episode 7, but more towards episode 8. Since if you look at the little, like the acrylic stands, we see Uzi and V, and N never really sacrificed himself, so I think that was reserved for episode 8, but then that never really happened, so, I mean, there's not much you could rewrite if you wanted the plot to progress the same as it did, or does, in episode 7, unless Uzi did die or something, but we already know that she has plot armor due to the pilot. The animation was upped a ton after Glitch's earnings on TADC, and the humor was pretty funny, especially for the humor back then. It was pretty spot on. The pacing was better than any episode because of the many plot points, and overall Glitch has just learned so much over the years of making shows that it's caught up to them, and I'm so proud of them for this episode. It's been a year, man. The voice acting was so amazing, and I still to this day want to know if Michael Kovac got a noise complaint for voicing N, since I do know all of the MD cast has to record from home in their home studio. So, Elsie, Steph, Fitzy, oh my gosh. Nori's VA, Sean, and Caitlin did so amazing too. I mean, Uzi's action noises, Steph voicing Tessa over on TikTok just did an amazing job the entire time. Fitzy with the laughing and all that crazy stuff, like, oh my gosh. A lot of people were mad about how, like Lizzie didn't sound the same as she did in previous episodes, but that's not really the voice actor's fault. I'm not really sure why she did sound different, but it was the same voice actor, and even I got a little bit confused on why she sounded so different. It was probably just her voice getting used to being back into the voice, since the time gap from episode, I think it was 4 we last saw her to episode 7, was a really long time. The sneak peek of Bite Me was really nice too, and the way Nori was characterized is so Liam Vickers, I just gotta say it. The episode really gives off some design vibes from Liam Vickers' SSTWL channel, with all the chains on Nori. I'll put a reference picture up here. The Internetian Cube static reference, and the way Tessa had Uzi go down saving you style, oh my gosh. The team really put their all into this episode, and I still classify it as one of the most deep chapters of the story. Not only does it put the characters into display so creatively, but even though I know it went through some sort of a rewrite, it still manages to pull through and bring us one of the best episodes in the series. We get to see all the sides of the characters and how they interact in a new setting and in a new world underneath just everything, how they're reacting to flashbacks and flash forwards, everything else that happened, especially with, Uzi finding out what her mom was like, and finding out that he's been destroying planets left and right the entire time, is crazy. It adds on to episode 5 as well, and I feel like that's a good thing, since episode 5 kinda sucked. I think overall, that's what Murder Drones does. Even though MD was the first show Glitch produced with another creator's ideas, it was severely rushed, but it was still able to pull through. And all the crumbs of lost plot points and unfinished ends, it just leaves more for the incredibly talented fandom to fill in the gaps for.
You guys know what time it is.
Editor's note!
Okay, I kind of forgot to mention Doll in this entire thing, and to pay remorse to our beloved Russian drone, I would like to say that her arc is finished! She did not need to live. Yes, it's sad that Doll died, but the fact that people are, really upset that she, died is, kind of strange. I feel as if her arc was very relatively well finished. It was finished very, very well. She got her revenge on V. Kinda. I mean, with the mindset that she did. Doll, after seeing the way that the solver has affected not only her, but her companion Uzi, who she wanted to help all along, how it affected the disassembly drones as well, it was like, okay, I'm gonna die, but you know what, take my word, fight back kind of thing. She wanted to help Uzi after all, and that's what she did in the end. It was kind of like a thank you, disassembly drones kind of thing. Now, you gotta kind of fight back. It was not specific what she was saying fight back to, but I would believe it was the solver, or Sin, or Tessa herself, or Tessin herself, I would say. You could also add it to the fact that Uzi was able to overcome her possession in episode 8, which can kind of give a little bit of background information on how she was able to do that with Nori's words and Doll's words. I love Doll as a character, but now I'm happy that her arc is kind of finished and it was able to be done at such a late episode. She got her revenge, kind of. She was able to kind of figure out what happened to her mother by Uzi's reaction. She was able to find out that the patch was real, and it also helped Uzi in the end. kind of. Overall, her arc was finished, and that's all that matters. Now moving on to the next segment.
Not to mention the way that TADC and this episode intertwines with each other on such a positive format and budget-wise made the team strive to be their best in this situation. I wish I could say that I can't wait for more, but sadly the series is over. It's been a year, Daddy! I feel as if Glitch wants it to be continued, but Liam doesn't. I feel like this show was very, very rushed since it was Glitch's first time working with another person, and Liam leaving most of his 10-year-old projects unfinished and having the attention span of a carrot. I feel like Glitch had no other choice but to push him for more. I understand that the company, not JC Jensen, but Glitch, had an uploading schedule to keep money rolling, but I do hope at the end of the day they don't make him make a second season. It does suck that MD was rushed, since times and deadlines really got to Liam, especially with the doxing after episode 6. Really took a toll on him, but he still had to rewrite the last 2 episodes to make sure it didn't happen again, which were also the most crucial. I feel like episode 7 really pushed through. It didn't go through too much of a rewrite, the characters were still at their peak as well, and the animation was even better than before. And I feel like if we didn't wait, enough time for TADC to come out, but when he finally finished the script, it was ready to be polished and turned into the best animation ever since TADC's success. And now, it marks 1 year since it came out, which is surreal. The plot twist, the atmosphere, just the mystery of the entire thing was enough to make me fall in love with it. It brings out the scary side of Liam Vickers, and it really just makes me think, if you meet a Glitch fan or some Murer Drones fan, would you ask them if they're a Liam Vickers fan or a Glitch fan? This episode is amazing and is the most nostalgic for me, and I want to say that everybody who had watched TADC and gotten into MD by TADC, this episode is also very special for you guys too. This episode was probably the first one that you watched premiere. It was the first one that I've ever watched premiere. Or maybe you didn't make the premiere. I don't know, maybe. But it's so nostalgic watching it back all those times ago. I remember people making intros of the edit, people theorizing on what was going to happen next, when people thought Tessa was actually Tessa. I just remember all of the funny memes that we had to fill in the gaps of what happens from episode 6 to 7, all of the fun memories I've had from just watching little TikToks about it, everybody theorizing that Newsy would become canon, and it did, and everybody fawning over how, Khan came back and all the little animations. What was episode 8 going to be like, and all of those animatics? Was Nori going to be out in space with Uzi? Like, what was going to happen? I remember people crying over the ending of episode 7, and it was just probably the best time of the fandom. I miss it so dearly, and it's what makes episode 7 so dear to me. It's my favorite episode, not just because it's a good episode, but because of the fan base too. This has been Surmi yapping about episode 7 of Murer Drones for probably like the second time because the last one sucked. Have a good day or night, depending on when you... Frank! I've been talking too much today. Have a good day or night, depending on where you live. And toodles. Is there somebody in my room? Who are you? Oh, hi, Molly. No! Oh, I'm so sorry. It was my cat. Oh, it was my cat. Molly, come in. I'm so sorry, baby. Molly, come back. Come back. Come here. Oh, now she's scared. You want to come in? I'm sorry. Okay. She doesn't want to be in. I thought my sister came into my room.